I definitely agree with you that on almost all levels, be it globally, continentally, nationally, even on a family or individual level, people are faced with serious and deep financial challenges. What if I also told you that even in these seemingly bleak times, there are still some success stories that tell us that it is still quite possible to make some financial gains and financial growth in these difficult times? Yes, indeed, it is true. There are so many people and so many companies that are making it. Now, in this video, I'm sharing one company's 470 billion rand milestone. And this milestone is a testament to showcase that there are still success stories out there. Now, the significance of such success stories is so that we can find motivation as individuals, as households, motivation for up and coming young entrepreneurs that think that it's so difficult and practically impossible to actually venture into business and be competitive and successful in these current economic circumstances. Indeed, it is possible. That is what we are focusing on in this video. So please do stay tuned, stay with us as we develop this story and get you interested to find out exactly what's happening and how it benefits you and what sort of practical insights can you learn from this that you can apply in your life for your own financial gains. Welcome back to Financial Matters. My name is Kenneth Perry and I am committed to giving you actionable and very practical financial wisdom that you can apply in your day-to-day lives. So if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe so that you get appraised each and every time and you don't miss out on the fresh and exciting tips and content that we are bringing your way. The issue and the main reason for existence of this channel is to ensure that there is empowerment that trickles down to every person out there so that together we can grow. So please do support the channel in our efforts to bring you such a content that will grow you and your families. Today we are looking at one major success story in South Africa, the story of PSG Financial Services. Now, we are not only looking at their successful over 470 billion growth in the past year, but we are basically looking at some of the practical insights that you can learn as an individual or as an entrepreneur wanting to grow financially. What are the takeaways that you can learn from this massive growth that they have experienced in the past year? Okay, without really wasting time, now let's look at the facts. What are the facts out there? PSG Financial Services has grown with a massive 470.7 billion rand. Now, this amounts to approximately 15.7% growth in only 1 year. Now, if you thought that it was impossible in such financial times, now PSG is one of those companies that are proving it to you right there that there is still some growth that is yet to be found. The globe, the world, and South Africa in particular is faced with massive challenges as far as growth is concerned. Now, for a company to grow with such magnitude is massive. And over and above that, the company's headline earnings grew by about 37%, and the return on equity is around the margins of 26%. Now, this is really impressive. It's quite impressive. Now, what is most impressive is this. Now, this is happening in the same economic environment that you and I are operating in the same economic environment that other companies are making losses in. So basically, the main takeaway and the main lesson that both you and I and others watching this video and others that are yet to see this video is that growth is still possible, and the possibility of growth is basically what we want to look at. What is it that PSG did that made them earn this much? Okay, what is it that they are doing that continues to bring them such massive financial growth in practically hard times? The first lesson from PSG's success is the power of diversification. Now, they made this massive growth from basically three avenues, which is wealth management, asset management, as well as insurance. Now, this massive 470.7 billion growth in the asset that they are managing, it came from these, all right, from basically these three major sectors. Now, what that means to you and I is that there is possibility of growth if you diversify. Now, for instance, if you are an individual, right, and you are only focusing on earnings that are coming from your salary, and then you are vulnerable. Now, a lot of people have embraced and got onto the bandwagon of a side hustle. All right, side hustles are making lots and lots of money, which means you are diversifying. You have income that is coming from other sources. Now, if you have not yet started, or you do not know, or are not earning any extra income, I will urge you to consider starting a side hustle, something that you know, something that you have a skill to do, so that you can grow also by having income coming from other avenues. If you're a business, then what this means for you is that you need to diversify your product and service offering. Now, the easiest way to do for entrepreneurs will be to look at probably complements. Look at complementary goods that go with the good that you are selling. For instance, if you are selling bread, then you also sell other complementary goods such as margarine, butter, and so forth, so that you are increasing chances of raising much more income. Often what the customers will do, they'll buy one product here and go and buy complements elsewhere, and so forth and so forth. Or another strategy that you can use is to focus on alternatives. Now, you've got a lot of substitute goods under one roof. That small business of yours then can begin to add an alternative and a substitute that people have as a substitute to your product. What that means is that you are creating a one-stop shop for each and everything that the customer needs. Therefore, you become the answer to all their problems. You are providing the solutions that they are looking for. Therefore, the chances of your income increasing then increase also exponentially. But also, if you are an investor, then what you need to do is you need to consider investing in different asset classes. Now, spread out your investments. You could put some of your money in real estate, in forex, in stocks, in cryptos, and so forth, so that when one asset class is not doing well, another is performing well, and you are assured of getting income every time and all the time. The second lesson to learn from PSG is consistent investment. Now, PSG consistently invested in technology and in people, even in uncertain times. Now, a lot of businesses were not sure or unsure what to do in such circumstances. So what is the lesson then to learn? Now, from a personal perspective, what you can do is you can automate small amounts that come out automatically from your account to be saved. All right. Now, a lot of people actually always wait for maybe one lump sum to come after a specific time, or they consider savings as the last thing that they do when everything else has been done. Now, that's the leftover objective that you consider. Now, this makes it impossible for you to grow, even though you were going to grow in small bits and incrementally. Over time, that is substantial. So consistency then becomes a key factor in unlocking your financial success over a period of time. Again, on an individual perspective, what you need to consider also is to continuously and consistently developing your personal skills. Now, developing those kind of skills that will increase your earning potential puts you in a better positions for better jobs and for better access to opportunities that will arise in time. Now, for small businesses, what you then need to do is you need to consider investing in processes and in those operations that will make it more easy and more efficient for you to do certain tasks. Now, doing certain tasks under the power and the influence of technology such as AI agents and other AI tools, this makes you more productive, and that increase in productivity and then in turn will increase your success ratio, and that with that comes an increase in your earning potential. I think it bears mentioning that wealth creation is rarely a dramatic windfall. Usually, wealth creation is based on consistent actions, no matter how small they are. Over time, these contribute to something that you look back at and say, wow, this is now something that I can be proud of. The third lesson to learn is adaptability. Now, the power of adaptation is one of those things that made PSG successful. Now, PSG being in the traditional financial services sector, where things are still being done for most part the way they used to be done always. Now, they had the guts to then adopt and adapt to certain technological changes and things that are happening in the tech space. Now, with that, it meant that they are open to new avenues, new markets, and new ways of making money. Now, what you can do then as an individual is to try and mimic this template so that you also can be more adaptable to your changing environment. This means that you constantly are looking for opportunities that are out of your comfort zone. It means that you're developing yourself sufficiently enough to try out new things. It is in trial of those new things that opens up your mind to what you previously were not aware of. That opens up your mind and you have a better scope of the kind of opportunities that lay out there. If then you are an entrepreneur, now entrepreneurs are advised to try to look at innovative ways of doing things. Now, in that innovation, the quicker you adapt to the change, the better and the more fluent your wealth creation will be over time. Oftentimes, people stick with the way things were done previously. This is how your great-grandfather did it, and then your grandfather after him, your father, and now you. And you are also willing to pass the same ideologies, the same processes, and the same way of doing things to your lineage. Now, what that means, it means that you are failing to adapt to the change. Now, there is an incredibly fast pace at which technology is changing. Now, those that are successful and those that will succeed are those that are quick on the uptake and adapting to whatever changes are coming. But these are the changes that will make you better. You're not just adopting everything, but you're adapting to the change through the adoption of what makes you better as an entrepreneur, what makes it quicker for you to have a turnover, what makes it quicker for you to have that investment bring back the returns that you are looking for. So you need then to adapt to the changes that are taking place around you. I remember with the issue with cryptos, when cryptos first came in, a lot of people were skeptical with Bitcoin and so forth. And then those that were quick on the uptake, the early adopters held their stance. And when it went up, they made a killing based on the fact that they were quick in adapting to the changes in the area of money and financial management. So if you are one of those people that are adapting to this change quicker, now chances are that you are going to earn marginally higher than everybody. However, we all know that there are risks, but the reason for risks means that you need to also take measures. For instance, you can put in risk management measures to make sure that you protect yourself against that risk. Risk is not a deterrent for you not to venture into that particular sector and participate. Usually, risk is an indicator that, yes, something can go wrong, therefore, do this and that and this to protect yourself and your investment from the risk of loss. I think there's one thing that I've discovered and continue to discover, that some of the most successful people are not basically the most educated or the most learned, nor are they even the most privileged people. Actually, the people that are more faster to adapt to the changes, those which are more adaptable to the current scenario or circumstances, are the people that are finding traction as far as wealth creation and growth in finances. Okay, finally, let's talk about community impact. Now, what we can learn then from PSG is this, that from what is happening now, PSG's growth puts them in that position where they can create jobs, they can invest in skills and other things for the South African economy. Now, what this means for you and I as individuals is that when we grow financially, then we put ourselves in that position where we become more beneficial to our families, to our communities. We can now uplift our communities, we can uplift our families. It also means that we can participate in entrepreneurial activities or even support entrepreneurs in our local communities, because when we grow, we have the income to participate. Now, this financial muscle that we have gained can now be experienced or can also benefit someone else. Oftentimes, you see that your individual financial growth has ripple effects. Now, these ripple effects always move outwards to affect other people around you. The gains, though, may look as if they are personal, the impact of such financial gains are always outward and will always affect a lot of people. Okay, so I'm really interested to find out exactly how you're going to participate in this. Please do leave a comment and tell us exactly what you will do to make sure that you change now. I want you to try and focus on creating things that will work for you based on what PSG has done. What I can advise you right now is to look at your skills. So how can you adapt them to current changes? What is it that you can do from a financial perspective, no matter how small your resources are, to diversify in what you're doing with your monies, be it investments, savings, and so forth. Now, please leave a comment and tell me exactly how you're going to diversify, what you're going to diversify in, and let's see and grow this conversation on this particular channel. Also, may I also urge you to continue your support to the channel, continue watching the videos, like, and also give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Friday Money Matters. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.